This may be the most important live that you ever watch of mine. If you're one of these people that say, I haven't got time to get healthy, I don't have the time to improve my health, to improve my fitness, to go on a diet, to do all these things at the moment, I've got so much on my plate, literally, then you need to finish watching this video. Yesterday, I was at talk with one of my good friends and who I would actually look up to as a mentor, a guy called Steve Morstan. And he was there talking on the topic, going through personal development and about having our dials dialed in. When we look at a speedometer and we look at like the fuel in a car, and he called them the RPMs. So we have 4 dials on there, and we have a relationship dial, we have a physicality dial, we have a mental dial. We're all a bit mental, and we have our spiritual dial. And we want to look at the physical dial here. And I truly think that if our physical dial is in the right place, if the fuel is up quite high, then the other dials are much easier to take care of. Because if our physical health is better, our relationships are going to be better because we are less reactive to those around us. If our physical health is better, then our mentality is going to be better. We're going to find it easier with our mental health. And if our physical health is better, our spiritual health, it's going to be easier to keep consistent in all these other areas. Yes, they all play a part. If your mental health is okay, then your physical health becomes easy, and so forth, and the same with spiritual. But Steve went and spoke about the 7 Principles of Highly Effective People, the book by Stephen Covey. Now, this talks about 7 different principles, and we want to go through that 7th principle because so many times that I work with people all over the world, and some super, super busy people that are raising families, have massively, massively successful businesses, and their schedules are just chock-a-block. Now, these people haven't got time to mess things up. And the trouble is that a lot of these people, they find they're a little bit low on energy. They find their sleep, they're waking up through the night. They may find they've got acid reflux, they've got brain fog. Sometimes their breath smells, they're bloating. They have these signs that their health needs a little bit of help. But the problem is that they wake up and their whole schedule is full and they don't feel they've got time in order to improve their health because everything is full up. Well, Steve spoke about the 7th principle in Stephen Covey's book. The 7th principle being sharpen your saw. And I'm sure you've heard about this story story about sharpening your saw before. But the story in the book talks about there's a guy walking through the woods. And he's walking through the woods, this big forest, loads of trees everywhere. This guy's walking through the woods and he can hear someone sawing down a tree. And he sees this person and it looks like this person is struggling with sawing down this tree. And he carries on walking through. And then he still hears this person a few hours later still sawing down this tree. So he goes up to him and he says, why don't you sharpen your saw? It looks like he's really struggling. You know, when you get that saw, I thought it was me just being a left-hander with saws where it gets stuck, but it's actually when the saws are blunt. Now he says, why don't you sharpen your saw? And his response to him is that I don't have time to sharpen my saw because I'm cutting down the tree. And that's exactly what people do with their health. They are spending so much time trying to saw, getting more and more stressed out, more and more burnt out, lower and lower on energy, that they're trying to fit more and more stuff in, but their brain isn't functioning effectively, that they can't improve their health. They say they don't have time. Now, the problem with that is that we can then go back into the first principle in this book. Steve didn't speak about this in the talk, but the first principle, which is about being proactive. Now, the trouble with a lot of people, when they haven't got time to sharpen their saw, they become reactive. They become reactive and go into hustle mode. And that's when we see these unsustainable methods when it comes to their health. We see people that are going to do 75 hard. Well, what about 365 pretty okay, rather than trying to smash it for 75 days, falling off 20 times and getting frustrated with yourself and beating yourself up, rather than actually doing 365 days where you're actually pretty decent with your health, making some okay choices. I mean, this stuff doesn't sell because it's not sexy, doing pretty okay, but you get much further ahead. You don't have to go into that hustle mode with your health. And you see those times with people that They don't do anything about their health until they're sick. They wait and they're reactive then. And the trouble is when they're sick is that it takes so much more in order to improve their health. That's where that first principle, being proactive, comes into play. So many people think they haven't got time to sharpen their saw and end up being reactive rather than proactive with their health. And that's what we need to look at. With the methods that I look at with people, it's like, don't try and push too hard. Find the smallest thing that you can do in order to improve your health and work on doing that and do it well. Then add something else in. If you can't work out twice a week, don't try and do 7 days a week. Don't try and do 5 days a week. Now, what we have to look at is that a lot of times those things that when you're being reactive, you focus on the things you can't control. Let's focus on what you can control. You can't control whether your kid wakes up 3 times during the night, but you can control watching something that is going to make your brain overthink before bed, watching some thriller, some true crime drama or something like that, or being on screens right until you get to sleep, doing your work right until you get to sleep, having caffeine later in the day, having sugar later in the day, having lower protein. You can control these things. You may not be able to control the fact that you've got 5 meetings back to back and all of them have a bit of food, but you can say no to alcohol. It is possible to say no to alcohol in every single meeting. And you can say no to the sugary treats. People say it's not possible. It's possible. I worked in corporate for years and you can say no to that. It's hard. It's very hard. But you can say no. You can control that. If you know there's going to be some sugary sweets in a meeting, you can take something in there. Be the leader. Take some protein in there. Take some protein treats in there and share them out. Be the leader. Be the guiding light that people can then follow and see that you're improving your health. If we focus on the things we can't control, we cause much more stress. If we focus on what we can control, we can be much more relaxed and get much further ahead. So think about it. If you're one of those people that have said, I do not have time to improve my health, do you? Or actually, if you sharpened your saw, you would cut down that tree much quicker. You would get the workflow done a lot quicker. You would get your workouts done quicker. You would be less reactive to those around you and you would have more time with your family around you. If you need support with that, drop me a message. My calendar is open at the moment. Book in for a call. Let's chat through your health. Let's have a chat and see how we can move you forward right now. Thank you.